What's up, everybody? Courtney Morse, Natural Wellness Physiotherapy. Today talking about kind of a back to the basics issue, and this is one that I talk about in every single workshop that I give, whether it's a shoulder pain workshop, a knee, a foot, an ankle, a running workshop, and that is starting any movement, athletic movement or not, with kind of a braced, stable core, right? When we think about our spine has four curves to it. It goes back this way, then comes out this way, back this way, and then again this way with our tailbone. And our spinal column is supposed to act as a spring, right? It's there to kind of help us absorb forces. If we just had a totally straight spinal column and we would jump, right, that's not absorbing a lot of impact through here. So there's a couple things that we want to do and we want to make sure of, and that's that we organize our spine, that we are engaging the muscles that we need to engage to help support our spine, to prevent us from getting, over thoracic position or over extension positions that are going to lead to pain and soft tissue dysfunctions down the road. So one of the things that I always talk about, and I'm going to put my stick away here. One of the things I always talk about in my workshops is to have this core on a little bit all the time. And we are talking about 20 or 25% contraction all the time of not just our abs, but also our butt, right? And we can definitely see and feel the difference from when our core is on and when it's off, right? And let me adjust this here. On, off, right? And so if a lot of you guys notice this kind of dump out position here, if this is your default, it's because we're not engaging these muscles and we're not stabilizing our spine. And that will lead to a number of different things. So part of this is just to be mindful of it and be aware that there's a different sound, there's a different tone between having a contraction on and off, right? Same thing here is that we want to have some of that tone on all the time. And if we're getting ready to do a kettlebell swing or a squat, we want to engage those muscles back here to help us, recruit our maximum amount of musculature. So none of that stuff is going to stabilizing our spine, right? And I used to use this example quite a bit, and she's 7 now, so she's kind of getting out of that phase. But when my daughter was younger, like, she was just pretty rambunctious, and she would just maybe come up here and run into you or jump and smack you in the stomach, and you had to be ready for it all the time. So if she was in the room, you were like, oh yeah, you're turning this thing on, right? Because you never knew what she was going to do. Now that she's a little bit older, I've kind of maintained that practice, but again, it's 20%. If you are running, we talk about increasing that contraction to about 35-40% to where my core is still engaged and I'm still breathing. I'm working on my diaphragm stuff, and that's another video that we'll link to in a couple of weeks or so. But to engage those core. Now that doesn't mean that we're get a full butt contraction, a full abdominal contraction, we'll walk around like this all day. That's not functional either. But to have these muscles doing the work for you, so these little tiny muscles don't get all fatigued, and so my hip muscles that are all tight from me sitting all day don't pull me into bad positions. So if you have any questions about bracing or about stabilizing, post them down below. But this part is essential for all of those activities that you're doing in the gym or running or with any of your sport activities. So if you have questions, leave them below. Until next time, Courtney Morse, Natural Wellness Physiotherapy.